Hello everyone, and welcome. Finally got the canoe out this year. I was hoping Anne would be here with me today, but unfortunately, now her work life is getting in the way. She had a bunch of paperwork to catch up on, so she wanted to stay home today and catch up on the paperwork. We were out here last year, and we camped on an island. And we're hoping to come back and do it again this year. But we don't know if there's a spot to set up both hammocks. The intention is, if I can find a spot to put both hammocks on that island, we're going to gather up a little bit of wood and stash it on the island so that the next long weekend we can come out and camp in the hammocks and we don't have to run around and get a whole bunch of firewood, because last time we were here there was not a whole lot of firewood on that island. So let's head on down the trail. Anyone who says portaging is the fun part, or portaging is easy, has clearly never had to carry a canoe. Portaging is just the necessary part to get to where you want to be. To answer the most important of the questions, is he wearing a life jacket? Yes, he is. The second most important question, is Mother Nature cooperating? Well, I just put the canoe in the water and the wind picked up. And it looks like I'm going to be paddling into the wind. So the answer there is, we'll see. Depends on how hard the wind blows and how hard it is to paddle. I'm on the island. The wind keeps picking up and then slacking off. Hopefully it doesn't cause too much trouble today. Those of you that saw the video last year, you'll remember I had a tarp from that tree to this tree over here. And right over here, there's a small flat spot just big enough to put the tent. Now, the hammock's not going to fit between these two trees. It's a little bit too close. But it will fit if I go from that tree to that tree. We have a hammock. I was looking around, and if I go from that tree to another tree way over there, we have two hammocks. So basically, it's going to go a hammock from this tree over to this one, and then the other hammock is going to go from this tree over to this one. The small fire pit that we built last year is still in somewhat decent condition. And the little bench we left here last year is still here, but it's got a broken leg. So we won't be sitting on it, but at least it still holds up. I might be able to use it for a small table when we're here. But that's fantastic news. Now we know we can set up here. We've both been looking forward to coming back to camp here, and now that we have the hammocks, we really want to try it. The river is still a bit high. This whole rock that you can see underwater here was high and dry when we camped here last year. This is where we were leaving the canoe. So with any luck, by the time we camp here, the river goes down a bit more and we can do the same thing, because this was a great area for it. So I've managed to get across to the other side of the river where I know there's some dead standing in here. So I'm gonna leave my life jacket with the canoe, bring the legs of my pants back down because there's some thick brush I gotta walk through. That's why I kept the pants on and just rolled them up, because I knew if I was going to cut wood, I was going to be getting through some brush. Brought along the Agawa Boreal 24. Now let's see if we can find some wood. See, now this is just uncalled for. Somebody was out here, and I guess they had a crank style flashlight. Yeah, it's all seized up. Flashlight doesn't work. Well, let's throw it in the woods and leave it there. No, let's bring it home and get rid of it. People come out to the woods to see nature, not to see garbage laying around in nature. Now, the canoe is just back there. I just started walking through here. I'm going to go toss this back in the canoe, and then we'll go look for some wood. Now this is a perfect example of what I'm looking for. It's dead. It is fallen, but it got hung up in other trees. So whenever it rains, the water just runs right off it. So let's see if we can't cut some of this up and get it back to the island. Well, that's a good start. Now let's see how much of it we can actually get in the canoe. How much wood can you carry in your canoe? All of it. We're back on the island. I'm going to unload all this wood and then see about hiding it somewhere. But once again, the canoe proves it's worthy. That's a lot of wood in there. My main goal was to start getting some wood here so that when we do come and camp, we've got a good start. I managed to get another load of wood in, but now it's 10 to 5, almost time for supper. And clouds are starting to come in. It's supposed to rain this evening. So I think what I'm going to do is just head back to where I launched and have a little fire, make some supper, and bum around there for a while. At least that way, if dark comes in too early, or if it starts to rain, at least I'm already on shore. So here we are. We're back on shore. I have the canoe all packed up, ready to leave. All that's left is to strap on the canoe barrel, grab the canoe and go. But before we do that, kind of hoping to stay long enough to have supper. You can see behind me it's starting to cloud over a little bit, but I think we have plenty of time before the rain starts. But first things first, I brought my running shoes and some dry socks. I want to cover up as much as I can because the mosquitoes are getting fierce. I brought along my thermocell. I gotta change the pad. Actually, no, that pad looks good. Perfect. So we'll turn it on. Oh, it's lit. There's a tiny little window on the end here. But when it's light out, it's very hard to see if it's lit. But this is supposed to clear mosquitoes in a 15-foot radius. It takes a few minutes for it to take effect, but we'll light it. We'll set it close by, and we'll hope for the best. With any luck, that gets rid of some of these mosquitoes, and we can start to work. All right, let's get some firewood cut up and get this show on the road. So, grab my fire kit. Somebody was nice enough to leave a bunch of birch bark here, and I found a nice chunk of dry lichen on the way. So once again, tear it to get nice fibers. We're on the sharp edge of the rock. There we go. Now, we'll place that in here. I think I'm going to use the birch bark to hold it a little bit. And let the wind do my job. It's always nice when Mother Nature cooperates and helps you to build your fire. What's the plan for dinner? Betty Wise, pasta Alfredo. Now, you may recall me telling you that one of those pouches is not enough. At least not for a guy with an appetite like I do. Especially after cutting wood all afternoon. I went digging through the freezer this morning to see what I could find. And I found a top sirloin beefsteak. So I put it in my dry bag. And I've got 2 water bottles that are frozen. I keep these in the freezer so that if I'm going out and I need to keep my stuff cold, I've got frozen ice that lasts a lot longer than using just ice cubes. I also use them for my lunch at work. Keep my lunch cool. They're very handy, but that's why there's black tape on them, so that we know those are the frozen water bottles. Do not drink them. They've been frozen 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 20 times. So I've got the pot from my Stanley cook set. And I brought a water bottle which holds exactly 500 mils or 2 cups of water. Which is exactly what I need for one of those bags. The tricky part's going to be, I forgot to bring my gloves. And that is very warm. So I'm going to set that to boil. And then for the steak, again, I brought a little bit of olive oil. And some Clubhouse La Grill steak spice. So just rub that on there. Turn the steak over and do the other side. That water's boiling. So let's get this opened up. Dig out the drying packet. The powdered flavoring tends to get caught in the corners, so I like to try and shake it out of there before I add the water. Whew, that gets warm when you're not wearing gloves. Okay. So we'll set that bag aside. I've got the fire pushed mainly back to this side so that I can keep sliding coals under the grill as I need it. Now, the moment of truth. Is this steak going to fit on the grill? Perfect. Now we're going to let that cook. By the time it's done, the noodles will be done. We're going to have a nice dinner. And hopefully a dry dinner. These clouds are coming in pretty quick. So in case you're wondering how that thermocell is working, not too many mosquitoes anymore. I get the odd one. There's one on my arm right now. But he's moving around and he's not wanting to bite. I was reading up on them, and apparently whatever it is that they use in those pads, the scent that it gives off, that's what it does. It doesn't drive the mosquitoes away, it just makes them not want to eat. I stopped being attacked. Now, I'm pretty sure when I go back in the woods and throw the canoe on my shoulders and start walking out of here later, I'm going to get eaten alive. When I took out the canoe barrel this morning and started to prep it, there was a can of Deep Woods Off in there. And I thought, I don't like to use the stuff. I prefer to use the thermocell, or I will light a mosquito coil. I don't like the scent of it. I don't like the feel of it on my skin. If the mosquitoes get really bad, I may spray a little bit on my pants and a little bit on the brim of my hat. But of course, I left it at home. So when I leave, it's going to be a mad dash to the car. Oh well. Still get to enjoy being out here, and right now I'm not being eaten alive, so I'm in a great mood. This is fantastic. So the steak is done. And seeing as I have a plate, I may as well pour out some of this pasta. Leave the rest in the bag and pour it out when I'm ready to eat it. The nice part about a canoe barrel is you've always got a table. And if you lift up the plate, then you got a seat. Yep, that pasta's good. That pasta is very good. Oh, so is that steak. Okay, I'm gonna eat this, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I'm gonna put the fire out because the clouds just keep getting darker and darker. And I'm gonna head for home. It's already 7 o'clock. By the time I go put away the canoe and then get home, it'll be fairly late. And if I can do that without getting wet, all the better. If I get wet, fine, but I'd rather not if I don't have to. And this is why I chose this spot to have supper. I knew I forgot my bucket. And this is nice and close to the river. I can make as many trips as I need to make sure that this is not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to make sure this is out, and then I'm going to call it a day. Thanks again for coming along. It's always a pleasure having you around. And if you like what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next one. What was it that I had said? I'm hoping to get out of here dry before the rain hits. The second I closed up that barrel and went to strap it to my back, it started to rain. At least I'm out now. But boy, that little bit of rain really drove all the mosquitoes underneath the canoe.